Okay, so here we are in the review. I don't know exactly how far I can't remember what we did last Tuesday or Thursday. I think I just finished with MyLabs Plus, did I not? And we haven't even went into the review yet, correct?
Right. We just did MyLabs Plus. We didn't do any like reviewer work.
Yeah. I thought today was the first day, so I wasn't sure. I've got something on my glasses and it's about to drive me crazy. There, it's gone. Okay. As you can see, this is the quiz and the review homework, and then you get into 1.1. Now I'm going to show you somewhere else that you can go. Let's say that you do 1.1 homework and you suck at something. Okay. Then you need to go down here and go to chapter contents. We don't have the, okay, it's called e-text contents now. Chapter 1, 1.1, and then hit study plan. Now, study plan is basically extra problems. So if you know you suck at factoring and you do, I don't even know what 1.1 is. Let me go back and look it up. Assignments and 1.1 prerequisite continue. I'm just looking to see because we're going to look at the quiz here in a second. Okay, determinative of graph as a function. Well, let's say you don't. Let's say you know it. Vertical line test is not a function, so you say no. A vertical line test is a one-to-one function. Horizontal line test, I can't remember which one it is, but it's not a function because it's a. So there we go. It's a circle. So I got that right, but I'm still not sure. Well, that's when you go, and that's number. That was number what? What was that? Number 15. Yeah. So let's go back, get out of that, and let's go to e-contents 1.1, 1.1, study plan, and go to number 15. And when you go to number 15, okay, there we go. It should look like that problem. And there it is. And then you can spend more time on it in study plan, because study plan, write this down in your notes, study plan does not count for any grade. So you can get them wrong all you want, you can get them right all you want. All they are extra problems. Think of study plan as a worksheet that you can work on your own that doesn't have any consequences on your grade. Okay, study plan. Study plan is extra problems for you to do for stuff that you really suck at. Everybody got that? I always show that to my 110, 111s, and 109s when we go over the review section, because people do forget stuff. And that's why I show you the study plan. All right, so let's look at the handy dandy quiz. And I'm just going over, I'm not going over these quizzes for my benefit. I'm going over them for y'all. So we can, and this is a quiz, shouldn't be that hard. I mean, you are in algebra. So, all right, so here we go. Remove the parentheses. And we're going to go through and do these because, like I say, I don't know how many of you wrote the book, and I don't know how many of you think this is very difficult. But I'm here to teach the students that think this is difficult. Those of you that wrote the book, y'all can stay home and find us a cure for the Chinese flu or whatever it's called. All right, so 5. Oops, let me turn on my handy dandy. There we go. Turn it around a little bit. Hit the dadgum focus button. There we go. All right. Why is it not focusing? Damn Russians. All right, so let me find my problem. I'm gonna make that big, and I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller, or bring it down a little bit. So 5 times 2x minus 2y, and usually I don't have to focus it but one time. 2y minus parentheses 8x plus 3y. Now this is a pre-algebra problem. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, all of you should know how to do it, but there's probably one or two. Let me ask you something. I need a show of hands. How many of you have had algebra in the last, oh, I'm sorry. How many of you have had algebra in the last year? Raise your hand. Okay, looks like, leave your hands up. I don't know if y'all can see the hands, but about half the class, well, y'all, okay. Are y'all finished? I gotta, okay. There's about 8 or 10 of y'all that hasn't had algebra in the last year. Okay, you can take your hands down now. All right, so I'm here to help those people that haven't had algebra in the last year. Okay, I'm fighting for y'all. All right, so here we go. We got this positive 5 right here, outlined in pink, and we've got this negative 1 right there. So I'm going to distribute that positive 5, and I'm going to distribute that negative 1. And that's going to give me 10x minus 10y minus 8x minus 3y. And whenever you distribute, what comes next? Combining like terms. And 10x minus 8x is 2x, and negative 10y minus 3y is negative 13y. That should be your answer. So I'm going to type it in because I want to make a good grade on this test. So that's going to be 2x minus 13y. And you should feel good about yourself. Oh, it don't tell you if the answer is correct or not. You got to wait. So next question. Express the following in interval notation. Now, the biggest thing here is people forget interval notation. Interval notation is, well, let's just graph it first. You always graph inequality first. Graph inequality first. Okay, if you're given an inequality and they tell you to do something to it, first thing you want to do is graph it. So here's our graph. That's positive infinity. This is negative infinity. This is 0. And they say negative 3. 1, 2, 3. So there's our negative 3. And they want to know what numbers are above negative 3. So I take out my handy dandy highlighter and I highlight the numbers above negative 3. Now, do I include 3? Yes, because it has the equal sign down at the bottom. So I include 3. So how do I write that in interval notation? Well, I'm going to show you both. Since this is a review, I'm going to show you both set builder notation and interval notation. Set builder notation would be x such that x is greater than or equal to negative 3. That is set builder notation. Interval notation would be, read it from left to right. Negative 3 to infinity. You can't touch infinity. so it gets a parenthesis, and you can touch -3, so it gets a bracket. And that's how you do that problem. How many of you, raise your hand, Miss Hollister, take your hand down. How many of you, that's knocking some cobwebs loose? Raise your hand if me going over these two little things, knocking some cobwebs loose. Good. That's what I'm here to do. That's what a review is for. All right, next question. Oh, we got to check this one. So I'm going to do brackets, -3, comma, infinity, dang old parentheses. Next. Identify the set of numbers in the giving as containing one or more of the integers, rational numbers, and or irrational numbers. Okay, well, we've got integers right here. That's what I think, integers. I don't like these type questions, but look, all these are whole numbers. Whole numbers is 25-cent word for integers. Since you're including the negatives and the positives, that's integers. Rational, let's go over that because some of y'all suck at that. So here we go. And what I mean by y'all, I don't mean in here, in this class. I mean students in general. Rational. I'm going to give you some examples of rational numbers, and I want somebody to tell me what they all have in common. 4 divided by 2, 1 divided by 2, 1 divided by 3, 4, comma, and 0.6666 repeating. Those are all rational numbers. Somebody tell me why. You can either type it in the chat. Let me turn on the chat because I think somebody has said something. 6 years ago. Good, thank you. All real numbers. Yeah, they're real, but I'm looking for something to describe them. What do they all have in common? You got to think outside the box here, because a lot of people don't think outside the box when it comes to rational and irrational.
Decimals?
I'm sorry, what?
Is it because they're all like, well, fractions, when you divide them, they're equal to decimals?
Okay, I think that's where you're heading with this. What are they? They're predictable. Somebody tell me what this next number is going to be on that 0.6666. It's going to be a 6, right? 4 is 4. Can I write 4 any other way? Can I write 1/3 any other way? Yes, I can. But what's that next number? 3. They're all predictable. In other words, I can locate them on a number line. And I can predict the next number. So if rational means predictable and locatable, what does irrational mean?
Unpredictable?
Unpredictable. I'll give you 3 good examples. The square root of 7, the square root of 2, and pi. So I'm going to take my handy dandy calculator and we're going to do those. Give me a second. I'm going to do them right here so you can see them. The square root, I can't ever find the square root button. There it is. Square root of 7. Square root of 2. I hate calculators. Now I gotta fix that. Square root second 7 second 2. And pi, somebody tell me where pi is. There it is. Second equals. All right, I got a $100 bill on my table right here. Tell me what the next number is of all three of those without calculating. Somebody tell me what the next number is on any one of those. I don't have anybody answering. Why?
You can't.
You can't see a what? You can't see a pattern. You actually have to calculate by hand to find out that next digit. That is called irrational. Irrational cannot be predicted, and it cannot be located. I bet you $1 to a donut hole that there's several of y'all that have spent 12 years in school and didn't know the definition of rational and irrational. Cannot be predicted and it cannot be located. How many of y'all didn't know that? Let me go back to the hands. How many of you didn't know the difference between rational and irrational? Yep. It's amazing. Okay, you can put your hands. Good gracious. It's still going. Wow. That's over half the class. Good job. You can put your hands down now. Thank you. All right, so rational means numbers that are predictable that you can locate on a number line. And that's the biggest one. I'm going to take my handy dandy highlighter in green. You can locate those guys on a number line because you know what this next number is, and you know what this next number is. You know that's 0.5. You know that's 2. You know that's 4. I mean, you know when you predict it on a number line, when you locate it on a number line, you know that it's right. These, you don't know what that next number is. So therefore, technically, on a minute level, you're sitting there going, you know, oscillating because you don't know if it's a 0.2, it's a 0.3, 0.4, 0.1. You don't know that next digit. Now, you go back to the question that it's asking, and now it makes more sense. So in this set of numbers, we have integers. You could make a case that they are rational, but since there's no fraction, that's what they're saying by rational. They should be. I might get that one wrong. It might want rational also. Oh my goodness, negative numbers, so everybody needs to quit.
You have a work email.
Thank you. All right. When you're dealing with negative numbers, and all of you, I'm not going to insult your intelligence. I'm just going to review it right quick. When you have negative and positive numbers, which are called integers, remember money, because money is important to us all. When you're adding and subtracting integers, when you're adding and subtracting positives and negatives, just remember money. You have and you owe. And two of the same make a positive. That's all you got to remember. That's the rules for adding and subtracting integers. You owe $30 and you owe $87. Well, if you owe $30 and you owe $87, the outcome is that you what? You owe, so the answer is going to be negative. And then if you owe one person $30 and you owe the other person 87, that'd be 117. I need somebody to check my math because I suck at adding eights. I don't know why I suck at adding eights. I think that's right. Negative 117. Next, the expression 16t squared gives us a distance in feet. An object will fall after t seconds, neglecting air resistance, which is a major force. I mean, it really is. Find the resistance an object will fall after 4 seconds. Plug and what? What's the phrase for plugging and what?
Chug.
Plugging and chugging. Plugging in the math, or plugging in the number and doing the math. So they give us a formula, and that formula says f of x or y is equal to 16t squared, where t is in seconds because of time. And they ask you, they say, find the distance an object will fall after 4 seconds. So that's going to be 16 times 4 squared, which is 16 times 16, which is going to be some BA number, which I need somebody to tell me. Well, 15 is 625. No, 225. 225, 16 would be what? I want to say 256, but I don't know if it's 256 or somebody tell me.
Yeah, it's 256.
Thank you. So after 4 seconds, it drops 256 feet. 256 feet. Next. Okay, this is multiplication. Multiplication of negatives and positives is pretty simple. Just remember your jumper cables. Positive and negative, multiplication and division. Just remember your jumper cables. Like signs, you put red on hot and red on hot. Everything's nice and neat. You cross them. What happens when you cross the colors on a battery? Blow up. Dang old sparks. Dang old bad. Okay? If you put red on positive and red on negative and you mix them, that doesn't work very well. Question, great, complaint. I was going to change that back. There we go. So in this case, we've got negative 13 times 2 times negative 5. Now, it doesn't matter which way you do this. You're going to come out with the same answer unless you do something totally out of the blue. Negative 13 times positive 2 is negative 26. And negative 26 times negative 5 is going to be a positive number because like. And that's going to be what? Well, 5 quarters is $1.25. So what is that, 130? Sure it is, Hubert. Thank you, class. I appreciate y'all helping me out. Appreciate the interaction. It's always good to have interaction among students.
I was doing this.
That's fine. I'm just messing with y'all. Y'all typing it in. I just can't switch. My internet is lagging. I hope mine isn't. But that's okay. As long as you're here, Miss Sanchez, you brighten the room with your presence. No, Mr. Abdallah, you cannot have
Sorry.
control.
Sorry.
That's all right. We all know that you're tight, Mr. Abdallah. You just got to have control, haven't you? That's a joke. Sense of humor. Okay. All right. So positive 130. That must be near where y'all click, because I've had several students hit. They want control. I want control, damn it. Next. Okay, here's another one. Negative 18 minus a negative 14. Well, we got 2 together. And when you have 2 together, it turns into a what? A positive. Oops, I'm sorry. So you can rewrite this as negative 18 plus 14. You owe $18. You have $14. You still owe money. So the answer would be negative 4. Next. Identify the number of okay, now here we go. We got some integers in there, but in this case, what's 1 divided by 2? Y'all can type it in or you can interact with me.
0.5.
That's 0.5, so that's predictable. Negative 4.4 is predictable. 1.33 is predictable, and 2.33 is predictable. So what is it? These are rational. Now, you could argue, oh no, you couldn't argue integers on that one because you do have rationals. You have fractions. Find the value of the expression blah, 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 when A is equal to 0.4 or negative 4, B is equal to 9, and C is equal to 0.4. This is old-fashioned plug and chug. So here we go. So that's going to be 5 times 8A minus B plus 0.8 times B minus 9C. A is equal to negative 4. B is equal to 9, and C is equal to 0.4. I'm going to move this over so y'all can see it. So I'm going to rewrite this and say 5, 8, parentheses, minus parentheses, plus 0.8 times parentheses minus 9 times parentheses. Now I use parentheses because I don't want to make a mistake. And I've got several degrees and I use parentheses, but some of y'all have no degrees. Y'all don't use parentheses because y'all don't need them. I'm going to let that sink in for a minute. All right, so I got 0.4, or negative 4, sorry. B is 9. B is 9. And C is 0.4. So here we got 5 times parentheses, negative 32 minus 9, plus 0.8 times 9 minus, well, I'm going to do this in my head, 9% or 1% of 9 is 0.9. So 40% would be 3.6. Somebody check my math. What's 9 times 0.4?
3.6.
Good job. Thank you. It's a miracle. All right, so you owe $32 and you owe $9. That means you owe $41 plus 0.8 times, well, 9 minus 3 is 6, but you're going to take more than 3 away, so that's going to drop it down to 5. I'd say 5.4. But I need somebody to confirm that, please. Negative 205 right here. Plus, well, let's see. 10% of 5.4 would be 0.54. So 8 times 0.54, 8 times 0.54, 2, and that's going to leave a 3, 43, 1. I got 4.32. Somebody check me on that.
Yeah, that's right.
And of course, if you owe $205 and you have $4, it's about like my bank account, then you know you're going to owe money. And you're going to owe $201.68. No, 268, I think. 200.68, but y'all check me. Verification, please. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. So I type it in. Negative 200.68. 200.68. I'm gonna give you control, Mr. Abdallah. You gonna present? All right. Next. Oh Lord, might as well give up on this one. For the given, give the coefficient. The coefficient is the number in front of the term. So what is the constant term? Constant's -9. Okay, because it doesn't have a variable with it. Oh, I hadn't seen a question like this in a long time, since 101 and 102. What is the coefficient of the term 7x to the 4th? 7. What is the coefficient of the term 8x to the 3rd? 8. Coefficient is the actual number. Next. Plot the points, blah, 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 blah. 3, -1. 3 and -1. And then -2 and -3. Okay, well, I thought I did. I guess I gotta go back. Okay.
You gotta click just randomly on the graph.
Okay. Hold on. You got a question, Mr. Melnick, on this one?
Thank you. I got it.
Okay. Okay, so -2. -3 or 3 and -1. So I went the wrong way. 3 and -1. And then the other one is -2, -3. That should be it. 3, 1. And then it says, okay, 3, -1. Okay, which one are they wanting? Are they wanting these? Oh, I see.
I think they're wanting you to plot both of them.
Okay, 3, -1, and -2. I guess I got mixed up on the -2, -3. There, that should be it. I guess I just go to the next problem. Write the set of all numbers less than 5 in 2 different ways. Okay, this is where you see the interval notation with the bracket and the parentheses. So, less than 5, is that inclusive of 5? Yes or no? No, it's not, because less than 5 means that it's exclusive. It does not touch 5. So that means A. Well, does it go to 0? Got to ask yourself that. Technically, it's these numbers, because 0 is less than 5. What is the set of numbers less than 5 in another way? Well, x such that x is less than 5. I would say C. It's not equal to, so it's not B or D. So it's either A or C, and I have no idea. That says x cannot be a natural number, and you can't use that because it has to be a natural number. So I would say this one. Find the quotient. Undefined. You cannot divide by what? 0. Plot 1, -2. 1, -2. Remove the parentheses. Well, that's going to be what? Let's see. 8 times 19. 72. Well, -152p. -152p. Minus 19 times 3 is 57. Q. Y'all help me out there. Somebody, what's 19 times 8? Somebody?
152.
And what's 19 times 3? Check it, make
57.
sure. All right, so
57.
let's submit the test and see what we got. I got one wrong, and let's see, I got this one wrong. I don't know why. Did I not click on? I told you they could be both, remember? I said you could make an argument for rational also, because you can predict these on a number line. I did say that, but I didn't know that they were really going to. So I did say that in my defense. What's this one? See, I picked that one to begin with, but you could argue both of these are correct, because set of natural numbers. 0 is not natural. I didn't catch that till just now. Natural numbers. Natural is what's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it's too small, but that's a good 90. That'll help my grade out, make me feel good about myself. Next. What's next in the assignments? What is this? Review homework. Let's look at that. And I'm just, what does that say? You have automatically received 21 points. Oh, whatever. All right, question 1. I think we've already started on, or I don't know. Okay, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on these natural and all that. I'm going to get to the math if that's okay. So we've already discussed this anyway. I want to get to actual algebra. Is that it? Why is it not moving? We've got all kinds of numbers down here. Why won't it? Why won't it go to these questions? Oh well. I guess you got to go down and do the. I have no idea why it didn't. Does that do? When y'all click on that interview, I meant that homework, does it do that with y'all? Okay, nobody's gonna say anything. All right. Okay, I don't know why it's doing that with that, but I'm gonna go ahead and hit 1.1. And what is this? Okay, that's input and output. Is -8 an input? I'm not gonna. That's an input. X is input. Y, that's your domain. That's your range. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. Y'all can do those. I want to see some actual algebra. I hope all these sections are not like that. The domain of this function is negative. Let's see, that's 8. That would be half of, let's see, 8. That'd be 12. And that would be 4 is -20. So your domain is from -20 to 16. Your range is from -30 to whatever that is, 5. So that's a good test question right there. I'd like to give test questions on finding the domain and range of a function on the graph. I love to give those on the test. So that's a good test question right there. Okay, we already did this one. This one is not a function. The horizontal line test and the vertical line test both tell us it's not a function. Determine the graph that right indicates yes, it is a function because the vertical line test does the vertical line test tells you if it's a function. Horizontal line test tells you if it's a one-to-one function. The domain of this function, since it has arrows, is -infinity to +infinity because it keeps on going. So you would type that in interval notation. You would say parentheses, -infinity, comma, +infinity. And I put a space in there. I don't know why. Delete. Backspace. There we go. And then that could be a test question also. What is the range? The range is from whatever number this is right here. You might want to blow it up. Wow. That's not a very good. I'm going to say it's on an even curve. 2, 4, 6, 8. I'm going to say -18 to infinity, but it's really not on 18. Can y'all see that? It's really not on 18. And I'm not going to I don't think that they would ask you to interpret between 18, -18 and -17. 2, 4, 6. Yeah, it looks like numbers like -17. So I don't know what they want there. That'd be negative 17, comma, infinity. Close parentheses. Yep, that's what they wanted, negative 17. If a model has input aligned, if a model has inputs aligned so that the x is equal to the number of years after 1982, what inputs would be used to represent 95 and 2001? Well, 95 from 1982, somebody do that in a calculator, please. That'd be 5, it'd be 13. So 13 would represent 1995. Y'all check my math. What is 18? Set 1982 subtracted from 1995. Is it 13?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, next. And 2001 would be, I don't know, 82, be what? 20, be 18, 19. Yeah, 19 maybe. Okay. Okay, conversion chart of the following. I'm going to go move on to the next one because I'm trying to find some algebra. So far, I haven't found any. Total, thank y'all. That's monthly payments. That's adding up. See what he paid for the car. Revenue from a sale of specialty golf hats is given by revenue is equal to 23x, where x is the number of hats sold. R of 300 means that you're going to plug 300 in there. What is the revenue from the sale at 2,000? In that case, you plug in, 2,000 hats. So 23 times 300, and then 23 times 2,000. I'm not going to do that. Y'all can do that, on your own leisure. 12, the profit. Okay, they're asking you the same thing there. I'm not going to. And here they give you a formula and you plug in those 60 and 50. Okay, so that's 1.1. Not a lot of information, a lot of, there's some questions there, but not a lot of questions for test. Let me go back and do 1.2. Okay, so here they're probably showing you graphing. They give you a function, and that function is y is equal to x cubed. So y is equal to x cubed, and then you plug and chug. Y is equal to x cubed, and you need to plug in -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, 3. And -3 raised to the third power is negative times a negative and a negative times a positive, which is -27. Here it would be positive 27. -2 to the third power is -8 or +8. -1 would be -1 or 1, and 0 would be 0, so you have a parabola. So we're going to type that in. So negative 27, negative 8, negative 1, 0, 1, 8, and 27. I thought for sure we'd be already in algebra by now, but we're still doing kind of a, and they want you to, I'm not going to graph it. I'll show you how to graph it. You click on it. You want to draw a curve. It's going to be a parabola. And I don't know how many points they want, but negative 2, negative 8, negative 2, negative 8, and then 0, 0, and then it's supposed to be on 0, 0, there we go, and then 2, oh, this way.
You have a work
8.
email.
A cube is supposed to be a cubic function. It should be a little bit more curvier than that. That's not right. Negative 3. No, negative 2, negative 8. That's not right. I don't know why I can't get it to curve. It's supposed to be a curve that looks like that. Oh, because, well, I can't do negative 3 and negative 27. I can't do that. So I don't know. Anybody have a suggestion? I don't know how they graph it. I don't know how they're going to graph it. If how do you clear it? Can I clear it? There we go. Okay. Oh, click the curve. I clicked the parabola. I'm sorry. I suck. All right. So negative 2, negative 8. 0, 0. Well, I did click the curve. Still not doing it right. 2 and 8. 2. Okay. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Oh, I know what I'm doing wrong. I forgot to do the negative 1, negative 1. That's what I forgot to do. Forgive me. Some damn Russians. Negative 2, negative 8. Negative 2, negative 8. Make sure I got, it says negative 7. Negative 2, negative 8. Now, negative 1, negative 1. Negative 1, negative 1, and then 0, 0. Okay, it's still not doing it. Okay, I don't know what to tell y'all. There, I clicked the curve, but it's not doing what it needs to do. Let me try 0, 0, 1, 1, and 2, 8. Yeah, for some reason I click on that and it uses a parabola. Let me go back and start over. Y'all, hold on a second. I hope that don't happen to y'all. Okay. Okay, for some reason, I'll try it on this one. Let me try this one. -2, -8. Zero, 0. Yeah, it's still not doing it. It's supposed to be doing better than that. Let's see how y'all's does when y'all do the graph, but that doesn't, I can't get it to work. I'm going, okay, let's go on to another problem. Yes, you should be able to plot those 3 points, but I tried to, and it wouldn't let me. Let's see what this one says. This is a straight line. So -2, that'd be a -4 minus 2 is -6. Hope I can do this one. -1, that'd be -4. Y'all check my algebra, check my math. 0 is -2. Looks like we can count now. -6, -4, -2 should be 0. And what is 4 minus 2 should be 2. So hopefully I can draw a straight line. If it lets me ask to graph this one, I hope I can do this one. Straight line, -2, -6. And 0, -2. Now that should be right. Okay, well, at least I know I can draw a straight line. That last one, that one didn't make any sense. Okay, which one has a vertical shift of 4 down? That would be C. We're going to get into that. State whether the graph has a turning point in the window. Select the correct choice. Well, that would be 0, -4 would be your turning point because that's the vertex. So that would be 0. Hold on. 0, comma, -4. That should be the vertex, which is the turning point. Okay, now, when you have an x squared on the bottom, we're talking volcano here, so that would be either 6 or C. It's either B or C, sorry. You'd have to draw it, golly, you gotta, these are very small. I think it would probably be this one, because this one drops below the x-axis, or the y, yeah, the x-axis. So I'd go with that one. The graph has a turning point in the window, and that turning point is the vertex, which in this case is 0. Zero. Well, they want the vertex, which you would have to actually calculate it by plugging in 0 for x. And that's going to be 6 divided by 2 is 3, 0, 3. Well, I guess I'm totally wrong. Okay, I'm sorry, I forgot the parentheses. I suck. Okay, so as you can see, now this one I would type in the calculator. I'll show you how to do that. And like I say, I don't know what you know and what you don't know, but I tell you, by the time we get through these first 2 units, we're going to know each other pretty good as far as math. So I'm going to go to Stat, Edit, and type in 0 and 13. 1 and 24. I'm just going to do it this easy way. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8, 9, 10, 11. Now I'm going to go up to the next column. Got 13, 24, 35, 47, 59, 75, 95, 128, 134, 196, 288, and 366. And now you can just go to I'm sorry, go to stat. You can actually go to plot, but you can calculate the actual first linear regression. Type in L1 and L2 and calculate. I don't know if they want this or not. Go ahead and write that down. Y is equal to 28.14x plus negative 33.10. So it crosses the x-axis at negative 33.10. So it's going to cross, it looks like either A or D. So if you want to look at plot, go to stat. And go to stat plot, hit second stat plot, Y, turn on, hit enter, hit on, and go down to do a dot plot like that right there. And hit graph. Well, it went ahead and, nope, let me get that out of there. Now hit graph. Now do a zoom, stat, zoom, and I think stat is number 9. There we go. So I would say probably A. Here's another one that you can do in your calculator. I'm going to let you do that one. Suppose f of x is equal to x squared minus 9x and millions of dollars earned, where x is the number of years after 2000. And then plug in 30, which after the year 2000 would be 2030. So number of $1 million for what year? And what is f of 30? Well, we just said be 2030. I'm not going to put those answers in. I'm trying to find more. That's plug and chug between 0 and 50. They want you to graph it on a calculator. Graph this in calculator. The average classroom teacher salary is given by blah, 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 blah. Years from 1980. Okay, so that'd be from 10 to 20 years. So you would type in 10 years and do the math, and then type in 20 because, oh, let's see, from 1990. I'm sorry, from 0 to 10. I'm sorry, I thought that was 80. So it'd be 0 to 10. And then it wants you to plug in the correspondence input determined for 1990. You plug in 10 and get your answer. If they don't want it, they might want it in, no, they want you to plug and chug. So that'd be 10, multiply that by 10, and then add it to that. I know I sound like I'm rambling, but I'm really just, I'm trying to feel y'all out, and you try to fill me out. This review section, I don't know how much y'all know and how much you don't. So I'm having to do this kind of by feel. I'm going to jump on into 1.3 and look at that before we quit today. So assignments 1.3. Good. Thank you, Miss Snyder. I appreciate that because the squeaky door gets grease. If nobody says anything, I have no idea what, so I appreciate you telling me that. So right now, y'all should be doing for homework tonight, the quiz and 1.1 and 1.2, because I'm covering 1.3 right now. All right, so let me just, I'll be glad when we get to some algebra. That last section was a lot of graphing.
I get a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So before we do 1.1 and 1.2, should we go through it in the textbook or just kind of go in?
That's up to you. Now, what I do is I cover just the problems. We could go through the book, but that's a lot of reading for me, and it would take up a lot of time. So what I do is I just cover the problems and then let you have the notes and let you work on the problems and then send me the questions. And that way, if you send me the questions, they'll get covered in class.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. And like another question. So if I get like a 60 on a homework, are there like second attempts or third attempts?
There should be. How many times did you do them?
There's unlimited attempts on the homework.
Oh,
Okay.
God. These teachers, I'm not the lead teacher for 109, so whoever the lead teacher is, oh gosh, that means I got to go in. I'll change them after class today. After classes today, I'll change them, okay?
Change them to what? Wait, he said there's
Change
unlimited.
them to unlimited.
No, there already is unlimited attempts.
Yeah, there already is.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I was doing it, and I could just go in and redo the attempt, like if I wanted to, because it says right at the beginning of the homework before you click start, it says how many attempts you have, and it says unlimited.
Okay, good. Because one of the teachers only put 3, so you could only do 3, and then it would count off.
Well,
I'm like,
what? That teacher's class.
what?
I said I'm glad I'm not in that teacher's class.
Well, I don't understand that philosophy, because how many times can you do a homework problem out of the book?
An unlimited amount of time.
An unlimited amount of time. So why would you limit on this website? That don't make any sense whatsoever. And
Yeah.
there's some teachers that do that, and I disagree with them 100%. But like this case, which of the following are linear? Okay. Now this is the parent graphs. Now I'll go over the parent graphs right quick, because that's just where this is heading. What you need to do is take a piece of paper. I'm going to take the next few minutes. We're going to spend the next few minutes on class time here on this process called the parent graphs. So I need everybody to take a piece of paper and take that piece of paper and lay it landscape. And I'm going to take my handy dandy ruler. Of course, you don't have to have a ruler, but it would help. And it doesn't have to be pretty, but at least 8 partitions. Okay. f of x is equal to x to the first power. So when you have f of x and you've got x to the first power, you've got a straight what? Straight line. Now what you're going to use this for is this is the parent graphs. These are the basic models. If I add something to these parent graphs, then that could be called a vertical or a horizontal shift or orientation, and I'll show you that probably Thursday when you come back. What's the next one? F of x is equal to x squared. And that, of course, is a parabolic function. And it looks like this. And it's called parabolic or parabola. And then f of x cubed is going to be a squiggle. Really doesn't have a name except cubic function. And then I'm going to take a pink marker, and you can look this up, or a blue marker. Look this up on the internet. You might be able to find your parent graph. Just look up parent graphs. And you might be able to print this out. Say again?
What's the third one called? It doesn't show the top of the paper. I
just said cubic function. I didn't write anything.
Okay.
I didn't write anything. It's just called a cubic function. And I'm going to divide this next one up into two. When you have an even x to the even, it squares off the bottom more. You still have a parabola. Okay, so see how it looks with x squared? This would be like x to the 8th, x to the 10th. The bottom squares off a whole lot more when the higher you go with your even exponent. And with odd exponent, it squares this out more. So it would look something like this. So the higher up the odd gets, the more flattened this area right here goes. So when you're talking about an even function or an odd function, take your highlighter out. I'm going to do pink highlighter. And that highlighter area is going to change right here. The higher the exponent, the more that that V is going to look like a U, or however you want to call it. It flattens out and corners out the higher the exponent goes. X to the 6th, x to the 8th, x to the 12th, x to the 16th. Whereas this one, I'll use the orange highlighter. This area right here is the area that is influenced by the odd exponent increasing. Absolute value, absolute vodka. Yes. Question. I heard somebody say Mr. McClure. Question? Okay. F of x is equal to absolute value of x. What does the absolute value function look like? Well, what does value in vodka start with? V. So what does the function of absolute value look like?
A V.
Looks like a V. f of x is equal to the square root of x. F of x is equal to 1 over x. That's a half a volcano. Half volcano. And f of x equals 1 over x squared is your full volcano. Now, there's a couple of more that you might want to add later on like the back of this page. Logarithm and 2 to the x power, but you can add those later. We're going to go over those later, and I will tell you to, sorry, bottom half. What can you not see? You should be able to see my whole paper.
My space bar is on the bottom, so I can't see the bottom half of the paper.
Oh, okay.
Like where I can enter the chat and stuff. Yeah, just
well,
like that. Thank you.
Well, I will tell you this: if you click one time, oh, I see what you're saying. I'm sorry. Okay, well, you need to fix that, Miss Hollister.
Yeah, I know. I just did.
Oh,
I just figured out how to.
Oh, okay. All right, well, let me move back down if you don't mind. There we go. Now, if you have a couple of more boxes, that's great on the front. But if you don't, you might want to keep the back. You can't do it. So you might want to make another one because you're going to add 2 or 3 more to it. Now, what does this mean? And I know I got 1 minute and some of y'all are going into convulsions. But when y'all get back Thursday, we're going to talk about vertical, horizontal shifts, and orientation. So I don't want you going into that next homework. Let me see where I was. Hold on. Where is my? Yeah, 1.3. Let's hold off on 1.3. So right now, what everybody should be doing for homework is the quiz, the review, and 1.1 and 1.2. That's what everybody should be working on. Let me go back to assignments. And everybody, there we go. You should be working on these 4. Okay? And sending questions in, because like I say, it's going to take us a while, at least to chapter 2, for me to figure out what y'all know and what you don't know and what you need to be refreshed on. And the more you send me as far as questions go, the better. Now, I do realize that some of y'all wrote the book. And those of you that wrote the book, just consider, some time off, okay? I don't need to be impressed by you, and I don't need you to try to impress me. Just chill and just wait until we get through reviewing. All right, now I'm going to cut off the review. I'm going to cut off the recording, and I'm going to cut off the